The following broadcast may contain explicit language and adult themes. Viewer discretion is advised. The opinions expressed in this broadcast are those of the hosts, talent, and guests, and do not reflect the opinions, views, and standards of Pyro Media Enterprises, affiliates, subsidiaries, or its members.
Hello and happy Monday, Pyro Media family. It's your girl Camille Talicia back with another episode of Camille Over Chai, a show where I get to have authentic, dynamic conversations with amazing leaders about some of my favorite things like business, life, and pretty much everything in between, all over a beautiful cup of chai, maybe. Today, my guest is Nicholas Hu of NeoMedia Group and Daydreamer Academy, and I'm so excited for you guys to join us in this conversation about pivoting to grow. So stick around, and we'll get right back to you. Okay, technical difficulties. Hey guys, welcome back. Everything just froze on my end for a second. Welcome back, guys, to Camille Over Chai. Like I said, my guest today is Nicholas Hu, and full disclosure, full transparency, Nick is my cousin, okay, and that doesn't mean that he is any less of an amazing guest. But this episode is going to be full nepotism energy, okay? Because this is my cousin slash my big brother. I'm excited for you guys to get to know him and meet him and hear all about what he's been working on. But first, we have to talk about what we sipping. Today, the chai of the day is not really a chai. It's Stella Artois. And I'm not going to hold up the bottle because that's just tacky. We are drinking it in a mug, okay? And while that may be, here's the mug. It's my favorite Pisces mug, right? Here it is because I am a Pisces. March 2nd is my birthday if you want to start planning your gifts in advance, okay? Um, but you ever had just one of those days where you got to start happy hour a little early? That was me today. But having a little liquid courage should make today's episode very, very fun. Yeah. All right, guys. So we are going to be talking about pivoting to grow with Nicholas Hu from NeoMedia Group. He is the founder of NeoMedia Group. They currently are doing a series where they have Daydreamer Academy, where he's working with STEM curriculum for various elementary and middle schools. I'm going to go ahead and say all across the country. I know we have a focus here in Atlanta, but we are branching out. So I'm claiming all across the country for us. And I'm excited to talk to Nick because he initially, his first business was NeoGate Media. We're going to get all into that story. But I'm looking forward to you guys hearing how he was able to pivot from NeoGate Media and what he was doing with that into NeoMedia Group and Daydreamer Academy. So without further ado, please welcome to the show, Nicholas Hu, my cousin, as we move into the Connection Cafe. I pretend this is applause, y'all.
Let's do a round.
Hello, cousin.
Hello, sis. How are you?
Hot.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those muggy days.
It is, and it's a little
Yes.
rainy here in Atlanta, but
Yeah.
it's all good.
Yes,
Thank you
definitely.
so much for joining me on the show today.
Mhm.
Um,
Pleasure.
I re-
Pleasure.
yes, good, good, good. Okay, so what we're gonna start with. Do you have anything that you're sipping on? Or did you forget?
So I was just finished sipping on some iced matcha latte,
Ooh.
iced green tea matcha latte. That was very good.
Hmm.
Don't want to advertise anybody on here, but yeah, it was pretty good. Let's just say I got my stars up. So, but
I love it. I love it.
you
We're
know,
not saying any names, but
not saying names.
if
And
you know,
then,
you know.
yeah, and then pretty much that's been it. And I'm sipping now on a nice, lovely prebiotic. I try to
Ooh,
drink some
okay.
pre-probiotic.
Oh, he's
Everybody call.
healthy.
I try. I try. You know,
I love it. I love
it's like one of those you order a Big Mac but a Diet Coke.
it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just basically
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
whole. I had nachos with cheese and everything loaded, and I'm here sipping on a
And they say, okay, let me
probiotic.
get my good bacteria in. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Good
yeah,
digestion. Yes.
definitely, definitely.
Okay. So, second question. I
Mhm.
guess maybe this is the first real question. If you had to describe yourself as a flavor of tea, because this is Camille over chai after all, what would that flavor be and why?
If I was to describe myself as a flavor of tea, it would be okay. So Sprouts sells this, and it's
Hmm.
actually more cold than it is brewed. A Moroccan mint ginger tea.
Ooh.
I
Okay,
feel
why?
like okay, because I feel like I am. We had this discussion just a few minutes ago, asking me what is your position and title. I'm just gonna put director, but I feel like I am wearing, as most entrepreneurs and most even professionals, I wear many hats. So
Hmm.
therefore, Moroccan, you got the mint, you got the ginger, all those different flavors, one beautiful piece of tea, and that's what I do. So yes,
All right.
I
All
was gonna
right.
do I was
We'll
gonna do
take it.
Honor Palmer, but I was like, nah.
You're
Uh,
going light in the dark.
yeah,
Okay. I'll
yeah.
take it. We'll take it. All right. Last question. So, let me just explain it to the viewers. These questions, as you continue to see episodes of Camille Over Chai, my intention is to make these the first three questions you'll hear for every guest. The first will be what they're sipping. The second will be their favorite tea. Or no, sorry, that's not what I said. If they had to be a tea flavor, what would they say? And then the last question that you'll see every week is going to be, what does the word leadership mean to you? And how would you describe yourself as a leader?
Okay. Leadership means one thing: service. Um, uh, so when we started Neo Gate, and it was that time where people ask you, you got to do a business report and all this 22-page big executive summary. But what's your motto? What's your slogan? So what I did was pretty much looked at every single slogan that everybody had. I was a big fan of Nike, and Nike's is, if you have a body, you're an athlete, and we serve athletes. Um, but I didn't know what pretty much my slogan was going to be until I found out that I grew up, as you know, I grew up mostly in the church, and my reverend, people call him Pastor, but he's my reverend. Um, he he basically exemplified what I am today. The word minister is pretty much called service, and he has always been a person of service. So that was pretty much our tagline: service is our solution.
Oh, I love that.
And if you look back at all the leaders, and they're generally defined not necessarily by what they're leading, but by the service they provide. Of course, one of our exemplary leaders is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was exemplified by the service that he gave to people. That's what his leadership came from. So yeah, one word for leadership to me is service.
I love that. Beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, so you kind of opened us up to the Neo
Mhm.
Gate media. And what I know of you is you went to Art Institute of Atlanta,
Mhm.
right? So you have your degree, it's in graphic design, right?
Digital media production.
Oop, excuse me.
Yeah. So I could tell you right now, and especially I love the title, Pivoting to Grow. I feel like I'm the epitome of pivoting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my whole storyline is
Yeah.
pivoting. So I did. So I initially went to the Art Institute of Atlanta for graphic design. Then I realized that I was pretty much good in, and I wanted to do video production.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, I was going to Okay, backtrack a little bit. I originally was going to go to, and I think you know this part too, and
Yeah.
this falls in story. I always wanted to be a storyteller. I always wanted
Uh-huh.
to write stories, especially mainly in the areas of comic books. You know, I was a fan of comic books, and it came to the realization you did not know that I cannot draw if my life depended on it.
At
But
the time, I did not. I don't know
yeah,
why I thought I saw little sketches you had done.
I
Maybe
convinced
I
you
made that
very
up in my
good.
head. Yeah,
I
clearly.
convinced you. Like, oh man, this artwork is bomb. I didn't know my cousin could do
Not
that stuff.
yours.
Like, nope, not mine. So
Okay.
no, I couldn't draw my life dependent on it, but I knew I wanted to write stories. So therefore, I was trying to do more in the storytelling space,
Mhm.
providing visuals, and then also go into video production. Um, the pastor of the church was a Morehouse man, and I always wanted to, and was always fascinated with Morehouse. I actually wanted to follow the trajectory of Spike Lee because I know that he went to Morehouse, and after Morehouse, he was going to NYU. So I initially was going to go to Morehouse with the expectation of basically going into film and things of that nature. And yeah, that direction did not happen because during that time, my GPA was not great, so I had to go to community college, and I actually went to the Art Institute of Atlanta to boost up my GPA. Then, life happened, got a full-time job. Then 9/11 happened, lost a full-time job.
9/11. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
then, I got accepted to Morehouse. Did not have the money to go to Morehouse, so I was like, well, back to the Art Institute of Atlanta. So, like I said, when I saw the title "Pivoting to Grow," I'm like, I'm the epitome of pivoting. So yes, initially was going to Art Institute of Atlanta for graphic design. Then they had the digital media production course, and pretty much what that is that all things media. So I have skills in graphic design, web development, and mainly video production. So
Mhm.
what that is that I take all those different, I guess, flavors of stuff. That's why the Mamarkin mint ginger thing comes together, and I basically put it all in, whatever stories I have to tell.
Mhm.
Um, I'm very good and proficient in the areas of, Photoshop. I know how to do websites, and I know how to do video production. So
And so before you even talk to me about, because I know with Neo Gate,
mhm.
you initially started out doing like political websites, didn't you? Wasn't that
Yeah,
what you were doing?
yeah, yeah. Whew. Yeah, that was fun. It was so yes. Initially, so I think just like virtually any production company, whatever the case may be, we did the little business cards for mom and pop shops, things of that nature. But of course, that stuff, and people realize that's not sustainable.
Mhm.
So I initially did a work for someone who was actually a motivational speaker, and then her spouse was in the working on political parties and things of that nature, and it was like, hey, can you do these it actually started off with commercials first, like
Ooh.
30-second spots.
Mhm.
Then it ended up becoming during their campaigns and during their websites. But the big thing that happened for NeoGate, and I think our most proud moment, is that things like that led to us um, doing video productions for like sporting events. So
Mhm.
what we'll do is we'll go to different college sporting events, videotape it, provide highlights, upload it to the server for the NCAA and things of that nature. Um, so yeah, we were doing political stuff, but I think more of our bread and butter came from us doing sporting events. We actually did the post game broadcasting for the women's Final Four. Um,
Is that
the
basketball?
yes,
Sports.
women's college basketball Final Four.
Okay.
Actually, college hockey Final Four. We did a lot of different things. So we got into a space where we were doing those type of productions because
Mhm.
um, again, uh, the area of being a freelance graphic designer and website things, those things it was not a sustainable model for sustainable income.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So how did you Was it your network that helped you get from mom and pop business cards to politicians to doing something on such a large scale like the NCAA? Like, was it the people that you knew? Were you pitching yourself and just going out there? What was that sort of journey for you like?
100%. So goes back to the service
Hmm.
is solution. What I try to do and what has made me, I guess, in the space of being where I am, is that the work that you do is the referrals. Like I mentioned
Hmm.
before, it was the fact that we did such good work for the motivational speaker that she was like, hey, you did very good work for me. I'm going to refer you to, my husband. And I was like, yeah, we willing to do that. Um, the the way we got to the NCAA stuff and that video production stuff was that we actually did a favor. We got paid, but we didn't get paid what our rate was, but we it was more of an opportunity and experience for Turner Broadcasting. And we were doing this thing for entrepreneurs, minority entrepreneurs. And one of the entrepreneurs was actually the owner of the media group that actually got the contract. So he was like, hey, I see you guys do very good production work and things of that nature. Would you like to have an opportunity? I was like, yeah, sure. So I would say a lot of 80% was because of the work that we did when we were not getting that much that
Hmm.
led to the work that we're doing now, where, slowly but surely it's becoming something that can be a sustainable model. So it's called the
Well,
paying your dues.
yeah. So just to be clear, for anybody who is like a newer entrepreneur who's listening to this, what I'm hearing is that even though you knew you could produce high quality, high ticket, for lack of a better word, like you made the conscious decision to agree to do things for more of like the future exposure, the future opportunity, and not receive necessarily the upfront compensation that would have been at the level that you wanted. Did I
Agreed.
paraphrase that correct?
Agreed. So in other words, just think of it as, let me give an example. If you're a company and you say you want to basically, I'm just throwing out something. We're in Atlanta.
Hmm. Yeah.
We're pretty much in Black Hollywood or Black hip hop, right? If you say you want to be a music video director, whatever the case may be, right? And you're good and things of that nature, you will attract more people by saying, hey, give me an opportunity to basically do a short music video for you, and all you have to do is just take care of just the whatever cost it is to do stuff. Then saying, hey man, here's my demo reel. My thing is dope. My thing is fire. You should hire me. People are not like people have to understand that there are a billion people who are doing the same thing that everybody else is doing to try to say or try to advertise themselves or promote themselves. People are going to be more attracted to say, okay, what is it that you can do for me? And once you get your foot in that door to basically do it and do the work, it basically shows more of you. And then that's where you get your connections. Then you just basically, in other words, trying to get a handout or trying to say, you know, you should basically hire me and pay me this exorbitant amount of money. People are
Hmm.
gonna like, well, who are you? And why should I? You know? And I
Now,
think
at
that's
what point do you feel like, or what at what point did you get to that point that you said, okay, or the place in your experience and in your I guess the work that you're doing, where you're like, okay, I don't have to do that anymore, right? Because I think there are some people who are willing to do that, like I'm going to discount my rate for the opportunity, but then they stay in that zone because it feels safe, and it's like, well, if I know I'll get chosen because I got the lowest rate, and then at what point do you have to let me rephrase. When was it for you that you got to the point where you said, okay, I've shown what I can do. I've paid my dues, like you said, and now I'm charging my rate, and the rate is the rate no matter what.
I'm still doing it.
Ooh.
And so let me give you the reason why I'm still doing it, because again, it goes back to pivoting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I pivoted the strategy and the focus of what now we're doing with Daydream Academy. I'm no longer trying to get into the space of video productions and websites and things of that nature. I'm no longer trying to do that space. I'm more in the space of trying to do education and things like that. I know what we'll talk about later with Daydream Academy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if I was still doing, because people still ask me, hey, can you do, websites, or can you do stuff? And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. But then they'll be like, please, 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 please. And I'm like, all right, if you want it, you're going to have to pay this.
Yeah.
So technically I'm still doing it, but I'm doing it because I've pivoted the strategy of what I'm doing now with Daydream Academy. But if I was in the space, like you're saying now, that people do have a tendency to get comfortable to say, I'll still do it for a discount rate. You have to know, again, you have to know when you're coming in, what's your expectation, or what is your quote unquote end game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you feel like, and you have to have a time limit on certain things. So if you're doing work at a discounted rate, let's just say for about 6 months to a year, right? And you feel like you're not getting that next opportunity, the next time that person or wherever that client comes to you, then you basically come and say, okay, the rates have now changed.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. Love that. But of course, you gotta do it in a more respectable way.
Says who?
I'm
kidding.
You know what certain we can't say that to certain people. Anyway, like everybody in the audience, this is gonna be how we talk. So just buckle up. But the thing about it is that it becomes the thing of now you have to, because they're now knowing your worth, because eventually they would not come back to you if you were not doing good work.
Right.
So you now basically say, okay, my rates have now changed. And then it's up to you to determine if you're going to go shoot, or are you going to just start gradually going up?
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to them to choose or not. Because the thing about it is, at the end of the day, if you say my rates have gone up, and let's say your rates went up about, let's say 30 or 40%. Let's say you don't go full blown, you go up to 30 or 40%, because you still want to basically, that client, and you still want to do that client. If that client says no, that means that you are not going to go as far as what the rate was going to be in the first place. So might as well, that was your validation to say, okay, they didn't really see me as that. But if they say 30 to 40% up, then, and if you choose to basically continue, then you know that they value what you do.
Right.
I think that's what happens. And I think sometimes that's where impasse is that sometimes we either say, okay, and that's what you have to know your numbers, because it's not, and I'm just going to be keeping it real. It's like a sticker shock if you basically going to double what you say.
Right.
And you
got to really have the work to back it up if you're going to.
You really got the work to back it up. But more importantly, you got to also, it's called customer service, and you got to know your customer.
Mm-hmm.
and you got to know, okay, I'm because it's technically a job. If you really think about it, you're asking for quote unquote a raise or an opportunity. So what
Mm-hmm.
happens is that if you basically are in a space where, okay, now you're doing a lot of work and you see that, hey, I can do more work. Hey, can I need to get something a little bit more? And you know, you will know if they were willing to give you those opportunities. Again, the same example goes to when we were doing um, the productions for the NCAA. It was just the fact that, okay, they gave us, okay, we did the video for Turner Broadcasting, which led us to doing some stuff for the NCAA. He gave us probably like one or two locations to
Mm-hmm.
go, right? And we took it, knock it out the park, right? And then he started saying, okay, I'll give you the same one or two locations. And we're like, okay, cool. We did that for about a couple of months. And then we was realizing like, yeah, there's about 500 different universities. How about you start giving us more?
Mm-hmm.
So we got to the space where it's like, okay, we got this um, big thing going with I think it was soccer at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted us to basically not only do the work but find people to facilitate the different regions in the East Coast. So it went from 5 games to about 20.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, okay, cool. So we basically had to go find people, go contract them, go shoot it like all the way from Maryland. We're here in North Carolina shooting everywhere. So he gives that opportunity. And then it came from, okay, I see that you did that. Now that you can do 20, how about you now come and do the press conference for the inauguration of Barack Obama for BET?
Ooh. See, you didn't say that before. You
Yeah,
stopped at NCAA. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So again, it was the fact that from doing something from a different company now, from Turner
Mm-hmm.
Broadcasting, to meeting them and then him giving us an opportunity to do one, then you know, doing all that stuff. It was a very fruitful relationship. Like I said, we don't we don't do that stuff anymore, but it was a very fruitful and productive relationship, and we learned a lot too. We learned a
Which is
whole
the
lot.
best.
Yeah,
Really what you can ask out of any sort of experience like
yeah,
that. So,
yeah.
nice. Okay.
So
So we are going to take a quick commercial break. We got to
mhm.
pay some bills. And when we get back, we're going to get into the second half of Connection Cafe, where we're going to dive more into the pivot and what you're doing now at Daydreamer Academy, and working with these kids, honey. Because now all of a
Mm,
sudden, a boy
that's
went
a
from shooting film on kids to actually teaching kids.
teach kids. Yeah, what
All
a
right,
pivot.
guys. So
This is gonna be a pivot. Oh Lord, it's gonna be a pivot.
all right, guys. So stick around. We'll be back after these commercials, with more from Nicholas, who from Daydreamer Academy /
Mhm.
NeoMedia Group.
Slash.
This episode is sponsored in part by Bullet and Flight Radio. Get ready to uplift your spirit with Bullet and Flight Radio, the world's leading progressive Christian radio station. Experience the vibrant fusion of gospel house music and a rich medley of inspiration from all musical genres that'll make your heart soar. Join their extraordinary lineup of today's trailblazers, visionaries, and voices that matter, all sharing their stories and wisdom. Stay plugged in around the clock as they broadcast unmissable content 24/7. Your go-to station for all things inspiring. Become a pilot today by visiting bulletandflightradio.com. Bullet and Flight Radio. Your story, our station.
people. We're back on Camille Over Chai. I'm your host, Camille Felicia, with my guest today, Nicholas Hu, and we are talking all about pivoting to grow and the pivots that Nick has made in his career and in his business. Hey, Kyrie, thank you so much for being here. It's no problem being late. We're just getting into the second half of Connection Cafe. We're going to get a little sweet and spicy with Nick. But before, oh, hello now. Before we get into the cafe, I just want to remind you, saw the commercials, y'all. Please, Pyro Media Network, that is the network that is producing this show, as well as many other shows you just saw in the commercial. Please feel free to like this video, subscribe to the Pyro Media Network channel, and drop a comment, hit the bell to get your notifications. Drop a comment if you're here, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay. Trust me, I go back and look. I'm looking like who watched the video, who's there. I'm trying to. So if you comment afterwards, say a little something, I will definitely reply back to you personally, and you might even get something from somebody else in the Power Media team. Who knows? All right, so I think that was all business. Let's get back into the chat, Nicholas. And if you missed before, guys, Nick is my cousin. This is fully like a family episode where
Mhm.
I'm doing my best not to divulge family info, but just really talk about Nick and what he's got
It's a family
going
affair.
on. Okay, so Nick,
Uh-huh.
we talked all about NeoGate Studios, and you were doing the graphic design, you were doing the website design, you were doing the video production. Went from, what did you say? You were motivational speaker website,
Yep.
government websites, to filming something for minority entrepreneurs, to NCAA sports, women's Final Four in basketball, to filming the press conference for the inauguration of the one and only my president, the only, what is it, the only president I recognize,
Uh-huh.
Barack Obama. So you know, you went on a nice little trajectory.
Uh-huh.
But now I don't see NeoGate Studios under your name. Right now I see director of Daydreamer Academy, which I
Uh-huh.
personally happen to know is I mean, I feel like saying just it's comic books is not enough, but it started out of the comic books, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, it started from a comic book series that Nick created. And now, okay, y'all, like he said already, I definitely thought Nick wrote and drew the comics. I thought they were his drawings that he just digitized onto the page. And then 2 weeks ago, he revealed his secret to me. Secret that wasn't a
Well,
secret, by the
it
way.
wasn't it wasn't a secret, and it wasn't to you. It was to a class, and she was
Right.
like, "Wait, all this time?"
Yeah, I definitely thought he was the whole artist behind this series, and I thought I forgot to. Oh, hold on, let me reach over here. Here it is. Here is, oh, now he, of course, as a
First.
person who comes prepared, he has his
Yeah.
comic book series. So yes, that's the your view is better. My light is too shiny.
Okay.
So these are the comics. This is the original series, right? And
Mm-hmm.
inside of this, it does have like a STEM curriculum. And for those of you not in like the education space, that's science, tech, engineering, mathematics. So the comic story has like that STEM basis. And then Nick actually created a whole supplemental curriculum on top of these stories that he's now bringing into various school systems, right? School districts,
Yep.
schools. Um, so how did we get here, Nick? How'd you
All
get here?
right. Let's go to pivoting.
Yeah.
So, at the time, when we were doing again video production and things of that nature, I was I still had a love for comic books. I still wanted to do comic books, and I was presented an opportunity to work for let's just say organization. It's not really a
Okay.
company.
Okay.
An organization that their sole focus was to increase the number and size of minority entrepreneurs. And one of the ways they were doing it was that they were actually creating a network called BAM, Business and Money Matters. So basically what it was that they were trying to basically get into the space of edutainment.
Interesting.
educating kids through pretty much entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was a very good concept, very good idea, very good programming. They also did some other educational stuff, but in the space of entrepreneurship. So I basically was working for them for a while, and what happened was that I still had this need to wanted to do comic books. And one of the things that happened was that I have two friends, Marcus Williams and Greg Burnham. They basically we used to do some work back in the days. Marcus is a phenomenal artist, phenomenal. And Greg is an awesome writer, just an awesome human being in general. He's like a brother to me. We're both Leos. Actually, me, Marcus, and Greg are Leos. Yeah, you know how Leos do. We gotta shout out our Leo.
Always doing too
Yeah.
much is what I
Oh,
Leos be doing, but that's okay.
hey, that's what we do. That's what we do. Unapologetically, that's what we do. So, long story short, they basically developed this awesome book called Tuskegee Airs, and I was like, man, they are doing the damn thing. And I was like, man, I need to get back into doing the book that I always wanted to do, which was Daydreamer. So they were pretty much the inspiration to say, get up off your butt and, start creating. And then because I was out of that element for a while, and I was like, came back and I just saw a lot of people, a lot of independent people just basically doing independent books. So I was like, let me do an independent book. So going to pivoting. So still doing graphic work, production work, and things like that. I basically took some of the funds that I was getting from doing that work and basically doing the consulting work over at the organization I was working with. And I just basically saved up money, and I was like, look, I need to get an artist. So I was like, I'm just going to do the book. So what happened was that I basically did the book, developed the book, and then I actually was I was going to go into the space of going back into doing conventions and things of that nature. But after previously trying to do that and it wasn't successful, I was like, I need to find a different strategy. I need to pivot to see, okay, what can I do that's going to be different from what everybody else is doing? Mm-hmm. So I met someone, and she was like, wow, this book is amazing. She's like, I wish I could bring this book into my school. So I was like, what do you mean by that? She's like, and no knock and no shade to that, but she was like, yeah, she was Black, and she was like, yeah, we watch, we have Captain Underpants and this other different stuff, and there's nothing that represents us. And I was like, so what you're telling me is that you need something that basically goes into the school system. She was like, yeah. So what I decided to do was like, okay, what is it that would make a school want to pay for these books? Because they have these textbooks and things of that nature. So that's when I met with Stephanie Hunt. She actually had a educational academy called Aya Academy, and she was also great in professional development with teachers. She's an educator herself. And we decided, it was like, instead of making just a book about a storyline, it needs to be a book about representation with us, but yet can be applied to the schools. Mm-hmm. And this is showing my age, I'm a big Schoolhouse Rock fan. That's how I learned about multiplications. I'm a bill. I'm a bill. 3, 6, 9, 12. I still do that to this day when I'm learning multiplication.
Is that how you do your threes?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a magic number. Anyway, they don't want. Sorry, audience. You don't want to have us singing. We'll do duets.
No, you definitely don't want that. Not yet.
Not yet. We'll give you a sneak peek later on. So what happened was that, okay, I need to basically take the concept and the story and the whole organization, and just make sure that it's something that teachers can use to say, hey, this is a cool way to learn something.
Mm-hmm.
But then it also has to be, the kids have to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I got with her, and we were like, okay, STEM was the hot thing. STEM is still kind of the hot thing right now. It's like, okay, let's just basically develop it and create it where these kids actually could become STEM agents. And that's where Daydream Academy came about. So when we developed our first book, we kind of did a focus group, and we focused on 5th graders and elementary students. And again, it started out with giving out books for free and giving it to pretty much teachers and giving it to other people so they can basically see it. And because I knew that, oh Lord, I don't want to use this reference, but
go ahead, say it.
Gotta use it. If anyone here is Snowfall fans,
Oh boy. Is this about to be a drug reference?
I don't know. Maybe I didn't say it. I never said that word. But what I'm saying is, okay, you want me to use another reference? You know how you basically go on the food court
I
and they
want
want to
you to
give you
do
free
the
samples?
no. I want the drug reference, please.
Okay, drug reference, cool. You know, when you got a good product out there, nobody know about your product, so you know you got to give out free samples of your product.
Gotta let them get hooked. You
gotta let them get hooked. Give them one of them more. So you know, that's the.
So you gave out the free books. You got them hooked.
Got them hooked. And what happened was that we started doing, so instead of doing comic book conventions, again going to pivoting, instead of doing comic book conventions, we did science fairs, and we did all these things that had related with school and education. And what happened was that we're like, okay, we'll give you a book. We gave them a sample book. We didn't give them the full curriculum book, and said, we'll give you a sample book if you give us your email address and things of that nature, and take a nice picture, and can we post it up or whatever the case may be. And that led to us, like I said, meeting with that teacher again and the principal, that was, wow. The principal ordered 1,500 books.
That was your largest order, because from then you had just been doing single sales, right?
Single sales.
How
Probably.
did that feel when you got that 1,500 order?
I was like, I got something.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I got something. I definitely have something here. And so what happened was that the first strategy was just to do the books, basically focus on putting the curriculum inside the books and then doing teachers' guides and things like that. And all I wanted to do was pretty much offer books and then do customization of the books.
Because let me just interject. I don't know why I leaned into the mic. Sorry, y'all. Let me interject. One of the things that Nick does is he has this option when he talks about customization to add real people as characters in the books. And so, like for one of the school districts, didn't you make the principal like the guard or something like that?
The superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so we'll get to that part in a second, because that becomes, again, the strategy and the growth. It was initially supposed to be, Daydream Academy was supposed to be about book sales and publications. The goal was that all we were going to do was basically sell books, focus on areas of science, then go technology, engineering, and math. Then what happened was that someone asked us to do a workshop on teaching the stuff, and we're like, okay, cool. Then what happened was that we met with someone. Okay, next big thing. It was a lot of moving parts. So many steps. So the next big thing was someone enjoyed the book and they were a STEM coordinator, and they're like, okay, we want to get the school, we want to basically bring this into school and see if you can help the school get STEM certified.
Mm-hmm.
We brought it to the school, and not only are we now doing books, I'm going into the classrooms to basically teach or basically instruct and facilitate the curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
And where, like you said, the program became that kids become STEM agents. You take an assessment that tells you what agent you become. You go through the different points and you become a STEM agent. So what happened was that they actually got STEM certified.
As part of your book was
As
part of
part,
the help?
yeah, as
Oh,
part of the
wow,
help.
that's so wonderful, Nicholas. I'm so proud of you.
And again, we did that at the discounted rate.
Uh-huh. Not free though, just discounted.
Not free.
Okay,
I was
okay, all right.
like, just
You do know
please
your
pay for the
worth.
books. Please pay for the
Please, sir,
books.
please.
Please pay for the
Okay.
books. But I didn't get paid to do any type of instructional things like that.
Okay.
So again, they got STEM certified. Then the coordinator came and was like, okay, I would like to do a book and add my characters and stuff like that, but focus on things. Okay, cool. It's going to cost this. Cool. We basically created and produced another book. So now it became, we're now creating books that other districts or people are using, but still is the license of Daydream Academy.
Which is a whole other pivot, licensing your product that we don't have time today to get into, but
Yeah.
clearly you're going to have to come back and share, because this really is just a business class at this point, what we're doing. I hope, I feel like I should have changed the name of the
But
title.
I mean, but see, everything is still pivoting because again, I can't, it originally was supposed to be just book sales and just basically customizing books. So now content creation for other people using our license and our brand. So now we're doing summer camps.
Yeah.
We're doing supplemental camps. We're doing after school camps and things of that nature. So now we're getting paid to do the camps. And that's where now our revenue is. So when people call me the comic book guy, I'm like, I don't sell books.
I sell
pretty
dreams,
much.
baby. No,
I sell dreams. Let's not use that cocaine reference for the dreams, but you know what we mean. Yeah.
So Nick, I feel like we didn't even get to really dive into your whole pivot, but it's time for us to go to our last commercial break of the show. And when we get back, we're going to be in the final sip. So y'all stick around. We only got a few more minutes left of Camille Over Chai with Nicholas Hu. So we're going to sell oh my God. Yes, Lord.
Yeah,
Commercials.
sell books.
It's time for good selling dreams. It's time for commercial.
Are you ready to take your streaming broadcast, website, or social media visuals up a notch? Pyro Media Productions is here with the perfect solution. From dynamics, design, and professional headshot shoots to family photo ops, they've got all you need for stunning content creation. Check out pyromediaproductions.com today and add that creative flair. Pyro Media Productions, setting brands ablaze since 2017.
Welcome back, guys. All right, we are moving into the Let It Steep portion of the show where we're just going to give some final thoughts on this topic that we have been discussing today. We got to hear a lot from Nick about just the various pivots he's been able to make in his career as an entrepreneur. So, Nick, very succinctly, what is one key tip that you would offer someone on how they can, confidently go into pivoting from whatever it is that they're doing right now to that thing that they actually enjoy, the thing that they love, the thing that interests them more than whatever boring thing they might be doing right now?
I would say always be flexible. Be flexible and be available. I think we're in a time right now where people are just people are not available anymore. for whatever reasons, because now there's so many options out there or things of that nature. People are just not available, and if you have that availability, and it goes back to again service, goes back to again leadership. That's part of your service, is to be available and to be flexible. I think you don't know the amount of doors you can open just with your availability and your flexibility. Again, I think we're in it, and more so than ever in this time, people are feeling like they're entitled to certain things, and some of it can be rightfully so. Not knocking it, not saying it, but people who are available and can be flexible, I think, will open more doors than you being very rigid and things like that. There's a fine line between being a pushover and being flexible. There's definitely a fine line, and you got to find a way to navigate and move in between that space. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I just told you the things that gave us those opportunities. Please believe, with that one time doing something for Turner Broadcasting, I can tell you, we ain't got that much time, 10 to 15 things that we did, and we're like, man, that was not a good idea to work with that particular person, or because people will take advantage, people will try to, So just know that it's pretty much your averages. You're going to see a lot of people who are going to pretty much not, going to try to take advantage of you. But it's just, again, it just has to be that one space or that two spaces where you excel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. And one of the other things that I heard you say, and throughout you sharing your story, is how your network impacted you as well, whether it was knowing somebody and getting a referral, or being inspired by your friends doing what they wanted to do, and you allowing that inspiration to kick your ass in gear to do the thing that you wanted to do, which is now created a whole other sort of industry that's available to you. So if I had to offer a final sip, that would be the other thing, is cultivate your network, tap into your network, and utilize your network if you're trying to pivot. Okay, so with that, Nick, tell me what is brewing with you. What do you have coming up? What do you have going on? What are you working on?
So we are actually going to be doing 2 summer camps this season. I'm actually trying to finish up 2 books. One is going to focus more on computer science. Another one's going to focus on climate justice and environmental stewardship. For the audience, because of course we did receive contracts in Houston, and we did receive some contracts also in other areas in Texas. So we're excited for that. That's going to be a huge pivot. huge pivot. So that's what is going on right now. I got again 2 more books that are brewing, and I think what I'm probably going to also do is, as far as strategy is concerned, I'm going to probably be in a space where I feel like I have enough books as far as the catalog is concerned, because I currently have 4 books. Once I finish these 2, probably now push that out more into the public. I have not advertised these books.
Where can people find you on the internet to be on the lookout for when you do push these things out?
Okay, you can follow daydreameracademy.com. It's not Daydreamers Academy. It's Daydreamer Academy.
I always put an S on it. But anyways.
Yeah, everybody puts an S on it. I'm like, do you see it? Daydreameracademy.com.
Okay.
That's where you will find us. And then we're on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Daydreamer Academy.
Okay.
Yeah, and those will be the 2 places that you will find us. And then you can just follow me on Facebook, Nicholas Who. Last name Who, yes, Hoo. I'm not part of Whoville. I don't know Cindy Lou Who. I don't get no royalties from Dr. Seuss. But my last name is Who, yes, Hoo. Black man, last name is Who.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can follow me there. I do. I don't. You'll see a lot of pictures of my daughter, but I will also do any posts and stuff like that as well.
Okay, Nick, thank you so much for joining me today. It's time for our final sip, y'all, and I'm just going to share a little bit about what I have coming up. If you are on my email list on theintentionalgoddess.com or the igoddess.com, and you got the email last week about the workshops that I have coming up, the Win Your Way workshop, and which is coming up in June. You can learn all about that by just going to theigoddess.com or finding me on my social medias, Camille Talicia or The Intentional Goddess. Please feel free to share. Well, you can like me first, follow me. And then if you see a post that you like, you can share that as well. Next week is Memorial Day, next Monday. So there will not be an episode of Camille Over Chai, but we will be back that following Monday, June the 5th, with another episode for you. I'm excited. So make sure that you grill safely, swim safely, start getting your white outfits together if that's what you feel like. Because you know what they say right before Labor Day, right after Memorial Day, before Labor Day, pull out the white linens, baby. I'm going to be celebrating my nephew Kaiser's second birthday this weekend. So excited about that as
Kaiser.
well. In the meantime, y'all, feel free to connect with me and Pyro Media Network all over the internet. Anywhere you see our names, I will give you love back. You give me love. If you got comments, feedback, questions, I'm happy to connect with you guys. And replayers, if you're watching this, thank you so much. And as always, y'all, be blessed, be amazing, be intentional. I will see you in 2 weeks, June 5th, for another episode of Camille Over Chai. Have a great day.
If you enjoyed this content, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to Pyro Media Network's YouTube channel for more awesome content. Plus, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss when we go live or upload new videos. Visit pyromedianetwork.com today, not just to check out our incredible roster of talented creatives, but also to gain access to exclusive bonus material available only to our Pyro fam. Show your support for this Black-owned indie network by donating today. Help us keep igniting brands everywhere.
Oh, good.